Okay, so Be'ezras Hashem, we're going to be continuing with the Hakdama to the Zohar Kadosh. And what we had is Rabbi Chia hearing Rabbi Yossi's teaching, Rabbi Chia sharing a teaching, and then Rabbi Yossi saying, yeah, this is a teaching that I heard from Rabbi Shimon. And then Rabbi Chia really kind of losing his mind over that teaching, over how powerful that teaching was. And then ultimately, Reb Chia falls into this almost trance-like state of mourning over the fact that Afra, how brazenous are you? How ugly could you be that you swallow something so profoundly beautiful, so that you take away the Amud of the world, the Nehura, the Alma. But ultimately, and after this kind of traumatic response, something that has already happened, to something that has already happened. So Reb Chia pauses. Reb Chia pauses. Eshtoimim regachada. He was paused for a moment. Vamar Afra. After all is said and done, dust, loy tiskai. Don't be too brazenous. Don't be too proud. Deloyas masrin b'chamudin da alma. Because in truth, the pillars of the earth have not been swallowed up by you. The Rabbi Shimon loyas balibach. Because Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, the Or Tzadikim Yismach, that secret of Rashbi, of Yesod HaOlam, of the Or HaTzafon, that is never swallowed up. Come Rabbi Chia, and again, we could speak for weeks about each one of these body gestures. Come, the walking and crying and laughing. Come Rabbi Chia v'have bachi. Find tears so often in the Zohar HaKadosh, tears of revelation, tears as a hisayrus for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to be megalazayin more Torah through the individual, because the expression of a Chiddush Torah or any Nikud of Torah is ultimately the Tikkun HaOlam, that a world that appears to be devoid of meaning, devoid of Torah is a Shvira, it's a Tohu, and by drawing Torah into it, which is the Or HaKav, that Or of hope, that Kivoy that a person has to have in the Torah that allows for the possibility of Chidushei Torah, because without hope there's no Chidushei Torah. And so ultimately, that's what comes down afterwards. So there's the Bechia over the Torah, and there's the Hamshacha of the Hisgalus. Kam Rabbi Chia v'Havei Bachi was crying, Azal v'Rabbi Yossi Imei. He walked. He moved along, and Rabbi Yossi followed him. Mihahu Yuma, from that day forward, Rabbi Chia was so motivated, as Ari Arbin Yoimin, Lamachme Rabbi Shimon. He fasted 40 days in order to behold the Or of Rabbi Shimon, the light of Rabbi Shimon, that idea of Rabbi Shimon that continues to exist, the secret of tzadikim v'misasam kriyim chayim, the secret of the Or Kitov, of that Or HaChayim that continues to exist within the tzadikim, within their books. Why? Because Rabbi Shimon lives in this book. This book is Rabbi Shimon. It's not a book that Rabbi Shimon wrote. The Zohar Kadosh is Rabbi Shimon. It's an expression of Rabbi Shimon. So when a person is learning the Zohar Kadosh, the mamish being miskasher and misyachid with the Or of the Tzaddik Yisad Olam, of the Tzaddik, of the Or of Moshe Rabbeinu, of the Or of Rashbi, of the Or of the Ari, of the Baal Shem Tov, of Rabbi Nachman, of the Chamishi Yechidei Hadoros, of all of the Tzaddikim. That's what the Or of the Zohar Kadosh is telling us, because that's the Metzias by HaKadosh Baruch Hu also. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wrote himself into existence. Galif Gilufe b'Tehir Wila. He engraved an engraving. He wrote himself into being Kavyachol, in the secret of Anoichi, which is Anna Nafshi Ksav Yahavis. The Chazal tell us that the word Anoichi, the stamp of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is I've written myself into existence. And so we see that by being Zeicha to find the Or of Rashbi as it exists within the book of Rashbi itself, where the book itself just becomes a ma'avar, a passage through which our experience in this world is illuminated by the reliance that we can place on the tzaddikim amitim, on the tzaddik yesod olam. So the Sefer serves as a moment of meeting Rashbi, which is the secret of the Sefer Yetzirah, which the beer of the Gran, Safed Tzniusa, starts off with, which is that the world is created b'sefer, that the world is created with the two steps of the book and the expression of language, because the book is always written and read. But at a certain point, when you learn a Torah enough and you connect to an Or Kitov like the Zohar Kadosh, a Sefer that's so holy that you don't even have to be correct in order to experience its benefit. You just can't claim that this is what it means. But as long as you open yourself up to the movement and the fluidity of experiencing where this holy text takes you, ultimately the tzaddik is megala himself within the Sefer itself. That the Sefer is niskala in the Sefer, that the writer of the text is revealed within the text in the secret of Anya Nafshi Ksav Yahavis, which is why the Sefer HaZohar can have the same koyach of Rashbi of Kedai Lismo, that it's a near miklat mamish. A person can run into the Sefer HaZohar Kadosh with all of their stuff and all of their baggage, and there could be safe for a second. Holzman, that we're not, God forbid, assuming that we know what we're talking about. Fasted for 40 days to see Rabbi Shimon. Amri le son Rashi, the Mechmele, you're not allowed to see him. You don't have permission to see him. Bachavis ani arbin yom nachrinin. Ah, you're telling me I can't? Okay, so I'll just go again. I'll do the same thing again. Kaflaim l'teishia. That by doubling things, by being zeicha to the secret of Mara Samachpela, of the Netzach and the Nitzachon, Netzachti va'anatzach, Debarti ve'egmor, Kamarti ve'egmor, the doubled nature of things, Pakoid pakadati. Every lashon of Geula is a doubled thing because it's the secret of the Shem Havaya of the Milui of Heyin, which is simply a Yud Vav Dalet, a Hey Hey, a Vav Vav, and a Hey Hey, called Mara Samachpela. That it's so essential, it's just a copy of itself because everything is itself. And this secret of doing it twice, he fasts another 40 days. Fasts another 40 days. And he saw in a vision Rabbi Shimon and his son Rabbi Lazar, that they were learning. That's what the tzaddikim were doing in Shemayim also, exactly what we're doing right now. They were learning the words that Rabbi Yossi was uttering, like we said before. The chair above is only sat upon when we sit upon the chair down here below. And that Chazal, in their infinite wisdom and the Nakuda of infinitude that's hidden within their wisdom, because Chazal is Gematria Ma, it's the secret of Bittul, it's the secret of the Das of Moshe. So then it's the words of Torah that we share that are Goyrim, the Yehudim Lamala. And how many thousands and thousands of celestial forces came to speak in these words. Suddenly he saw the master of wings, the great master of wings that was emergent. All different types of malachim in the book of the Zohar were higher than the malachim. That's why it's written in Aramaic. We could talk in this way because the malachim are not listening because they're disgusted by the language. Because Be'emes, the book of the Zohar, is the book that teaches us, the book that teaches us how to be bigger than malachim. It's a book of learning how to grapple with being a Baal Tshuva. It's a book of Misa. It's the book of elevating Misa. And therefore, we find very often all different types of malachim are coming along and coming to listen, almost like they're just part of the narrative. They're the background. The Leshem Shabbat Achalim explains this very clearly in the Hakdama for Aklalim, and Rabbi Nachman explains it Kedarcha B'Kodesh in Torah Aleph in Tinyana. Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Lazar Brei, they saw all of these angels that were coming, and there was Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Lazar Brei V'Slikul Masifta D'Rakia. And they ascended even higher to the place of learning that exists above. And all of those celestial forces were waiting on Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Lazar because it's the secret of the Adam that's l'malam in a malach. As Moshe Rabbeinu teaches, he says, I'm afraid of the malachim, Rabbeinu Shlalem. They're denying my right to the Torah. And Hashem says, Achuz b'kisecha, hold on to the kisei hakavod, hold on to Shayrish of Nishmas Yisrael, secret of Yisrael. And in that place, Klal Yisrael is in the skala that they're higher than the Malachim because they struggle. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Moshe, give them a response, because to be human is to have to choose to give a response. To be a Malach is to be told what the response is. To be human, Moshe Rabbeinu has to give the response himself. You see this by the Levana also, because being human is the secret of the Miyat HaLevana, and the Eitzah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives to the Levana to be Ma'it itself is Leichu Ma'ati Asatzmech. He, Rabbeinu Shlalem, doesn't go and minimize the moon. The moon has to make the decision to minimize itself. And the tzaddikim on this darga, they're higher than the malachim. He saw that they were engaged in novelty, and the emergent lights and the colors that were emergent in addition, more than the sign of the sun. Pasach Rabbi Shimon opens up. The Amar Yael Rabbi Chia Lichame Bekam Dezamin Kuchberichu Lachadasa Anpe Tzadikaya Lizimna Daasi. Rabbi Shimon opened up his mouth in this vision, and Rabbi Chia hears him say, he says, Rabbi Shimon, let Rabbi Chia enter so that Rabbi Chia can see the reward, the Chadasa Anpe, the joyous faces that is reserved for the tzaddikim in the world that is perpetually emergent, the world that is perpetually coming. Praiseworthy, says Rabbi Shimon, is one who enters here without shame, without embarrassment, without feeling that they're unworthy, but rather fully entering into the teva of the Zohar, believing that we're shaykh, believing that we're shaykh to Pnimius, believing that it's dafka our generation that's zeicha to Mashiach. And praiseworthy is that individual who could stand sturdily like the Amud Yisad Oilam, with its kifas, takif bakula, everything. Kifas, shavisi, up, down, right, left, shavisi. V'chamad have ayil, v'have kam Rabbi Elazar v'shar amudin the asvin teiman. And Rabbi Chia in this vision sees that they began to get up. And Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon, got up, and everybody else, all of the amudim, all of the pillars of the world that were sitting there got up. V'hu have kasif, and Rabbi Chia was ashamed. V'ishmit garmei. And in spite of the fact that he was ashamed, he came forward and he sat at the feet, at the raglayim, at the lowest expression of the megala tefach u'mechaset v'chayim of Rabbi Shimon. A voice emanated, a voice emerged, and it said, lower your eyes, don't raise your head, and don't look. Lower your eyes and behold the light, because in the Sefer Zohar Kadosh, if you're trying to see and grasp, you're not going to see the light. It's only when you lower your head in the shiftless of realizing that you don't have the hasaga of the light that a person begins to see the light. It was shining from a distance, or the notion of being at a distance was where that light shines from. There was a voice that was emergent, and it was saying that elevated ones, concealed ones, hidden ones, open-eyed ones, those who are slumbering and sleeping. The book of the Zohar HaKadosh is coming to wake a person up. It's a dream. It's a dream, which is a targum. It's a terdema. It's the dreams of Adam Arishon, Bizman, and Nesira. Everybody, there's always a call to wake up those who are in slumber. Tatayin, the mechen stimen b'churechem etzaru. Awaken yourselves who find yourselves stuck in a state of slumber. Man minchoin dai chashucha mahapchen l'nehura. Who amongst you has taken darkness and transformed it into light? Vitamin merira lemitka. And who has tasted the sweetness within the bitter? Ad le'yesen hachi. Prior to having arrived here. Meaning the prerequisite is having transformed the darkness into the light and tasting the bitter as sweet. Man minchoin de mechaken b'chol yumen l'nehura d'nayer b'shaysa de malka pokid la yaltavis yakovis kari malka mikol malkin de alma. Who amongst you has been yearning? Who amongst you has been waiting? Who amongst you has been anticipating each and every day for that light that shines forth in the moment that the king searches after the dough? As it runs and is referred to as the king of all kings at that moment, meaning the dough is the Shechina Kadosha. One who has not anticipated this moment, one who has not hoped for this moment every day of their lives, has no rishus, has no role here, is not able to gain access to the Or of Rabbi Shimon. Until now, Rabbi Chia had seen all of the different chavraya and the amudim that were there. And he saw that they ascended to the Masifta of Rakia. Ian Salkin v'ilan Nachten, there were those that ascended and there were those that descended. Above all of them, he saw the master of wings, Dave Asi, that was coming towards him. The Marigadfin flies by Rabbi Chia, and Rabbi Chia hears that I've heard from behind the pargo that the king spends time searching after that dough each and every day, chasing after it, and finds it hidden in the afar. And he begins to kick 390 kicks that descend and reverberate throughout the rikios, throughout the heavens. V'kula misrachtin v'zein chaim, and everything is shaking and everything is unsturdy. In the face of that kick, when a Kadosh Baruch Hu finds shchinta begalusa, when a Kadosh Baruch Hu finds the ayalta that's hidden within the afra, and a Kadosh Baruch Hu Kavyachol cries tears over this. And these burning tears fall down into the heart of the great sea. And it's through these tears that the master of the sea, the Leviathan, the secret of Yesod, the secret of Das of Moshe, finds the ability to sanctify the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu above and below in the sea as well. Okay, Be'ezras Hashem Chavra, we will continue tomorrow. B'siyata d'shmaya, b'suras tovos.